All right, anime question of the week.
Shoot.
So, I kind of not necessarily stole. This is kind of like same but different question from the question that you asked me last week,
Okay.
but it's about your favorite anime this time. So, if Luffy were to eat any other devil
Wait, you
fruit,
said my
now,
favorite anime. One Piece not my favorite anime. What are you talking about?
well, okay, I know Naruto technically is your okay.
Okay, okay.
That's
Well,
not the point. You
obviously
know
you're
that.
both trolling. Go ahead, go
You
ahead.
know what I mean. If Luffy were to eat any other devil fruit besides the one he has right now.
Mm,
Now I don't want to say like or like basic ones because I know there's some like really broken ones out there right now.
mm,
So I guess like non-main character type devil fruits, if that makes sense. Because there's some real main character devil fruits out there.
mm.
But I also think that it depends on the person and how much they progress it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like you can have a main character devil fruit and still you could have the gum fruit and only really still be able to use your arm whips instead of, so but you know what I'm saying. If he were to eat any other devil fruit, would he currently in the anime have gotten as far as he is right now if he ate any other devil fruit?
Any devil fruit, but not like main character. So we're not
Yeah,
saying
like
we're not taking the
he's
Admiral or
not
Kainu's magma fruit or anything like that.
yeah, like nothing crazy, but like just any other regular devil fruit, which I guess, like I know the gum fruit was technically considered a regular fruit
Hmm.
amongst normal people. Obviously, tired people knew that
Yeah.
it was a strong fruit, but
I mean, Luffy, going back to the gum fruit, that fruit, Luffy made that fruit what it is. Now, obviously,
hmm
he unlocks it in another way later on in the story, but up to Wano, he made that fruit what it was. He
yeah,
unlocked Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4 based off his
before,
own
yeah,
imagination. With him having another fruit, I feel that he would still be able to use his imagination to make that fruit a contending fruit. Luffy also obviously has his
yeah,
family ties that gives him the hockey, so those
yeah.
things included. But will he be currently in a story where he is? The answer to that would unfortunately be no,
That's how I
because
feel.
no
Okay,
matter what, all the way up to Whole Cake Island, could he beat Katakuri? A lot of people even say that they don't feel he truly beat Katakuri, but
hmm
spoiler, can he beat Katakuri with another Devil Fruit? Possibly, quite possibly.
yeah.
Could he beat Kaido with another Devil Fruit?
That's what I was about
No.
to. That's what I was about to get into.
Luffy loses multiple times against Kaido with his Devil Fruit. Luffy has to unlock
Unlock Gear
the
5.
next
Yeah,
point of his Devil Fruit, and with only because that Devil Fruit is what it is, he had the access to those type of powers, to that level of power. So even if he managed to awaken another devil fruit, maybe say he had a devil fruit that turned him into some type of animal, maybe he
yeah.
had a devil fruit that had some type of defensive or offensive capability, I don't believe that they would have been able to bring him up to the level in order to
That's
beat Kaido.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking as well. I was like, when I thought of this question, I was like, where do I think he hard stops? You know what I'm saying? I do understand that devil fruits rely on your imagination and your will, and he has
Mm-hmm.
the will of D, right? So like I understand that he can. There's a lot of stupid powers out there, like a lot of stupid devil fruits, but people have made them really strong, and they got to where they are. Like old boy with the snot fruit, it was in the Don Quixote family. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Hey,
was still
he
strong.
was a
You know what
top
I'm saying?
general in the Don Quixote family.
So understandably, but I'm like Luffy only gained access to Gear 5 and those type of powers through the whole Joy Boy will and all that stuff because of the Devil Fruit he had. I'm like I mean, I know I'm like getting into Wano or Whole Cake Island right now, but his next big boss is Kaido. I'm like he has to hard stop at Kaido. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't even know if he's beating Katakuri. I'm just going off of
Yeah, like
maybe the fruit is actually a strong fruit in itself.
yeah.
That with his imagination and the strength of the fruit, he's able to beat Katakuri. His
Yeah.
fruit is weak. Like the gum fruit was a weak fruit. He just made it
Yeah.
strong because of his imagination. If I'm adding
Yeah.
imagination and a strong fruit, maybe he passes Katakuri, but again, he's not beating Kaido.
Yeah, like I think he's definitely hard stopping at Kai because a lot of the things he's went through thus far, he was using the weak side of his devil fruit,
Hmm.
and he's still been able to come out on top or squeeze by. You know what I'm saying? So like he could obviously do that with like an electricity fruit, which I don't know. I wouldn't really consider Eneru's like a main character fruit. Eneru made it what it was again. But
Hmm.
that's just a. I think lightning is a standard power. There's other power systems in other animes where they make lightning such a like heavy power, like Zenitsu, right? He's the only one that can use like lightning form, lightning style, whatever the hell it is.
Hmm.
So or Sasuke and Kakashi, they're about the only ones who can use lightning jutsus. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they make it a big deal, but in the One Piece world, how big that world is, lightning's not that really special to me personally. So
Quite honestly,
it's,
now that you mention it, with Inaru, if we're talking where does Luffy hard stop, he probably hard stops Inaru.
that's what
He
so
beats Inaru only
I wanted
because
to
he's rubber.
I wanted to say that, and then I was thinking I feel like he would have gotten somehow he would have
Maybe
gotten
yeah,
main
maybe
character
there's another
main
devil fruit that he could have
yeah
used to main
he could
character
have
energy
gotten
to
main
shit.
character. He could have been a Woodwood pause. He could have been the Woodwood
He could
fruit.
have
You know
had
what
the
I'm saying?
barrier fruit. Like there's so many possibilities. Maybe the
Yeah,
mud fruit. He could have had these other devil fruits that could have possibly got him
yeah.
by Inaru, but
I mean,
it's
if
a fifty
Sanji could take a
fifty.
blast from old boy,
Did he take a blast? I mean, he lit Sanji's cigarette. Sanji took a puff and then passed the fuck out. Zoro
true, but I
took
mean,
maybe two
yeah,
hits from him. Like, Inaru was wiping everybody. If he wasn't rubber,
oh yeah.
fifty
We had
fifty,
this
he's not
conversation
passing
when
Inaru.
I got the Skypea, when I was passing Skypea, we had this conversation. I was like, that nigga only won because he was rubber.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said that, but I was like, he probably, if he had another fruit, he might have been main character squeezed through. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, or ran. You know what I'm saying? Like with Kaido, he loses multiple times with Kaido, but he still comes back and ends up fighting again. Hell, he fights Rob Lucci twice. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, he could have somehow, but I think hard stop guaranteed
Guaranteed.
Kaido.
Kaido,
Kaido.
guaranteed.
Kaido. He stops. Like
Mm.
again, he's dying. Now that brings me to another question. This just I just thought of this as we were talking about this last question.
Okay.
Do you think One Piece would be more entertaining if Luffy didn't have his Devil Fruit?
No,
Mm,
that's an easy one. That's going to be a
or
no.
not? I mean, not like has another Devil Fruit, but not
Well,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think specifically this devil fruit makes it more interesting
funny.
because it's funny. It's like a gag.
Yeah,
It's like the rubber
yeah,
house. I think that's what they used to call it back in the day.
yeah.
Rubber house animation. It's
Hmm.
it's literally rubber animation. It's the stretchiness. It's the boing. It's the eyes popping out. It all plays
Yeah,
into the part of the comedy. Like I used to tell people like, and this is probably like early Wano, maybe late Hokage when I was telling people to watch One Piece. I'd be like,
yeah,
watching One Piece is like watching a comic strip. Like
yeah,
old back in the day, Sunday morning comic strip, watching that comic strip play out. That
yeah,
I think the rubber devil
yeah,
fruit plays into that, and the fact that he makes that rubber, a dumb rubber devil fruit, as funny, wild, and as
yeah,
strong and powerful as he does, I think that all plays into like
yeah.
the the
Yeah,
essence
I
of what
mean,
One Piece is.
you can still be funny with other devil fruits, but it's just like you said, it's like the Toon Force animation and
Fact,
like watching. It's
fact.
like the Tom and Jerry getting your tail pulled and he's still running kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like somebody grabs his arm, but he's just still going and his arm's just stretching. And he's like, "What the hell?" Like
That's just Luffy.
it's funny. It's just
But
funny.
now I got a question for you, since
Oh,
you want to ask if Luffy would be Luffy
how many
without his
anime
devil fruit.
questions?
Like this is the same question that's probably been asked every time someone
Ready?
asks about Luffy. So could
Otakuans.
Naruto, you already know
Oh,
where it's going. Can Naruto be where he is today in the show we must not mention without Kurama? Now,
yes,
now,
I
now
stand on it.
he can
I
have
stand
one of
on it.
the other beasts, but Kurama specifically.
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because it's a little different than the Luffy one.
Okay.
Because Kurama was the strongest of the tailed beasts,
Hmm.
arguably, or not
Not
arguably.
arguably,
It
definitely
was a
strongest.
fact. It was a
Hmm.
fact. But he was also one of, and the other beast said this when Naruto was talking to all them. He was also the meanest, which it
Fact.
took Naruto longer to form a relationship with Kurama
Hmm.
than I think it would have taken him to form a relationship with another tailed beast.
But
Now,
that's all part
that
of the essence of it, like the beauty
mm,
of Naruto having to fight tooth and
I
nail
think
just to get that relationship.
true, but we're not talking about the story. We're just talking about how far he could get
Okay. Okay.
in the
Fact.
story.
Fact.
So yes, it would have the story would have been a little skewed, of course.
Hmm.
I understand that, but he would have been able to form. I think the second meanest was they were talking about Shikaku when he was in the little Biju circle with Naruto doing a little campfire.
Uh,
Shikaku was like, ah, what the
Chicago
fuck
is
is
the
that?
desert one, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's
Hmm.
Garas. He would have been like the second meanest, but Gaara was also just field raged and a hateful child. But either way,
Look at his
blood,
backstory, of course.
blood,
Nigga was
my blood,
angry.
it's my blood.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but I think he would have formed a relationship with another one even faster, and that would have made him, if he still was the same Naruto, same dreams, same goals, but just treated like shit, and was a Jinchuriki and just the same shit. I think he would have been able to still accomplish what he accomplished. I think it would have been a little harder because again, Kurama is stronger. So when he gets Kurama powers,
Yeah.
but the problem is we haven't seen. I think it was one filler where we saw another Jinchuriki do his like rage mode. Like you know how Naruto goes into like tailed mode before he actually got his KCM modes.
Oh, we got to see the like fish one,
I
the
think
water
so.
one.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not the same. It's a little less powerful. So I think some of those moments he won was because he went into rage. Like, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
So I think again, giving Luffy the MC pass, I think Naruto would have been able to MC pass a little bit, but he would have been able to achieve his Jinchuriki form or whatever the form would look like with another because he'd have been friends with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he was with the eight tails, he'd have been friends with the octopus, or the bull
But is
octopus.
the three-tailed Jinchuriki really taking on all the other Jinchuriki 1 on 8?
I think, but that's also him. That's also Naruto. That's also
That
Naruto.
Date by yo. Never give
Yeah,
up.
you know what I'm saying? You know, that's also his own powers and his own Uzumaki chakra pool that makes it's kind of like Luffy making the devil fruit stronger. Naruto's addition to, because I also think, like, to add another question, fourth question, like, well, not a question, but this is more of a statement. If anybody else had Kurama, which we saw other people that did, they were never able to achieve the levels that Naruto achieved with it. You know what I'm saying? So you may have the strongest Jinchuriki, but can you achieve KCM plus nature
Don't make me
plus nature
spoil you.
chakra?
Don't
You know what
make
I'm saying?
don't make
Well,
me spoil you
I'm talking about
because
Shippuden. We're
the
not talking
perfect
about anything else.
Jinchuriki has been born. But
We're
we
not talking
won't we
about.
won't get
I
into
don't care.
that.
I don't care. That show does not exist to me. Um, but I'm saying like we've seen other people with Kurama. We've seen other people, but can they achieve Sage mode with Kurama? Can they achieve KCM 1, 2, 3? Like you know what I'm saying? I get it. He's the main character, so he's able to. But that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Luffy's also the main character. He got Gear 5. That's the point. So. But I think he'd be able to achieve forms like it with other Jinchurikis. Now, the bigger question would be that's on the internet is could he just achieve it without a Jinchuriki in general? And I think he would have been a higher than average Jonin, but he wouldn't have been because it was him building his character from being hated. He wouldn't have been hated,
He wouldn't
like
have been hated. They also
some
say
people
that
also
it messed with his chakra, having the
yeah
Kurama in his body. So he would have had better chakra control. He wouldn't have been hated
yeah
by his whole village. His father was the fucking
dad
Hokage.
his dad would have been alive.
Like he would have been,
Like
he would have been a top class Jonin. I wouldn't even say like upper class. I would say he would have been top Jonin in the village.
I mean, yeah,
He
have
would
been top
actually be a
Jonin.
Jonin. He would
Yeah,
have
he'd
actually
be a
made it.
top. He would have been a top Jonin. He still would have had like Rasengan, probably even Sage mode because fucking Jiraiya would have came around eventually and been like Minato, like my old student. Oh, this is your son. Let me fucking take him for 20 days and 20 nights. Or at 48, whatever. How long they were gone? A few years. So he still would have learned those things, and he definitely would have been like a Kakashi of his era. You know what I'm saying? He definitely would have been, but I don't think he would have because you got to imagine like he also got into a lot of those fights because Akatsuki was fucking after him. You know what I'm saying? So if
But
he
he
wasn't a
was still the
Jinchuriki,
reincarnation. I don't think that's
yeah,
linked to being a Jinchuriki. So maybe if he could have fought his way to
Hagoromo
the
or whatever.
end to finally becoming the reincarnation, achieving it all, then maybe. But even being the reincarnation, he had both the Kurama chakra and the
I don't
Sage
know
chakra, and it gave him like
his
the X eyes or the
yeah.
plus sign
I
eyes.
mean, his niggas was fighting alongside of him the whole time, and they weren't Jinchuriki. So I think Naruto would have definitely been able to punch it out with the best of them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Naruto should have
but
died many
but
times
my
though.
thing because I also was gonna make this like I was gonna make this statement, but then I thought about it. But right before you said his father would have still been alive, I was like, he probably like I don't want to say this, but he might have not even passed the school because he was a dumbass. He didn't know shit, but he also wasn't hated. But then I was like, wait, if his father was still alive, he would have been able to do those things and
Definitely,
pass the test. So because his father would have been
He
teaching
wouldn't have
him.
been a
So
dumbass trying to fucking paint on the Hokage
yeah,
face
number
monument
number
face all
one
the time.
knucklehead ninja of the leaf.
He probably wouldn't be a knucklehead. He'd probably be a Shikamaru level intellect, Shikamaru level of like analyzing things. Because look at his father. If he would have had the guidance from his father, he probably would have had those same levels of intellect and analyzing and strategic mindset.
He's still Naruto though. You know what I'm saying? Like even with his dad alive, he's still gonna be like
He never
he's
had a chance to have his father, so his whole life was
yeah
being a knucklehead. But
yeah
even 10 years with
yeah.
Minato, ain't no way.
I think with another Jinchuriki, he could definitely make it. Without one, if the story was the same,
I had to argue though. I just quickly defeated my
he
point.
could have.
Let Minato be alive. Wouldn't Naruto just be Boruto then? Isn't
Who?
Boruto Naruto if he
Who? Who? Who?
isn't his son
Who?
that he has in the
Whose
future?
son? Minato's son?
Naruto's
Yeah.
son that he has in the future. Isn't
Oh, it
him
wasn't.
Naruto still
I
being
wasn't.
alive?
Oh,
Isn't he still isn't that the same story?
I didn't know that they had a gender
Shut the
reveal.
fuck
I
up.
didn't know the baby was born. That's crazy.
He has a boy and a girl. But it's the same
That's
story still. I feel like it wouldn't change much. I mean, like I feel like that was their play on okay, this time
but
let Minato live. How would Naruto be? And they played it out.
no, because Minato they wouldn't have nerfed
Outside the
Minato.
aliens. Outside the
No,
aliens.
well, no, I'm saying they wouldn't have nerfed Minato. They wouldn't have made him an absent father because Naruto's whole thing was about being present, and they made him a
Okay.
absent father,
Uh-huh.
and they made him and they nerfed him.
I mean they would
Like,
have. They had to most anime, it's like they gotta create this world where either the parents are dead, they're gone for whatever reason, like they got
they're off to
business in
war.
America, or they're off at war, or they're just an absent parent where they're always working and too busy to be in their parents' life. So there's a 16-year-old
I just hate
living at
that.
home by themselves. So no
I
matter
mean,
what, they were going to make
hot take,
Minato a
hot
bad
take,
dad.
hot take. I think they could have made Naruto the dad he was supposed to be, and still made a good show about his
I
son.
bet you feel
I
that way.
I think they could have still made a story out of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I
Like
believe you.
I would have much preferred Naruto was off doing some fucking trade negotiations with the fucking East India Trading Company and still been as strong as he was than them just completely nerf him and make him a terrible father. When his whole thing for what 324 episodes was about being loved and having somebody in your life and not being abandoned and being there for the people that need you.
Being there for the village, in which he is there for the village.
But he also talked about kids when he was talking to Hinata, and
Did he?
yeah, he said he wants to be the father
Hmm.
that he never had.
If he
And
said
then he
that and
ends
it
up
wasn't like a filler episode, then yeah, that kind of hurts more to me
like
even more.
because he's like and he even says it when he's being an absent father in Boruto, because I've seen the first 100 episodes of Boruto. He even says it to Hinata as well and to his kids, or I think it was to Sasuke. He was like, I want to be the father that even though I know what happened to my father and blah 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 blah, like I want to be different. I want to be different. And then the next episode proceeds to send a shadow
He's
clone to his
not being
fucking son's
different.
thing. Like,
I
huh?
never understood that. Why send a shadow clone? You could have
Like,
literally been there and had the shadow
and said
clone at the
how to shadow
office.
clone do something. They fucked that
Yeah,
show's fucked. I
it
don't
was.
care.
I mean, it's the anime only like canon. What's it called? Anime only canon. I don't like
Yeah,
anime only canon when it comes to Boruto, but the manga is heat.
I know
Two
I
blue
know you said
vortex
that.
is heat. So
Yeah.
I'm still going to die on that hill.
I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll watch Boruto and just get it over with, just to
Just get
fucking
it.
say I watched it.
Don't watch
Because
it. Read it.
I got a I can't read. No.
Wait till two
Um,
blue vortex comes out, then watch that.